Have you ever seen someone refresh their phone seconds after posting a photo? Or maybe they retell the same story again and again, subtly watching your face for a reaction. These behaviors might seem like everyday quirks, but they could be signs of something deeper. Psychological research shows that seeking validation activates the same pleasure centers in the brain as getting a reward. That's right, likes, compliments, and approval light up the brain just like money or chocolate. So no, this isn't just about attention-seeking or vanity. It's deeply rooted in how we're wired for connection and belonging. But when the craving for validation runs wild, it starts to reshape someone's speech, their actions, and even their personality. In this video, we'll explore the hidden signs that someone might be craving validation and what to look for when observing these behaviors in others. From subtle apologies to social media habits, these signs offer a glimpse beneath the surface of everyday interaction. First, let's talk about the why. Validation is more than just a compliment. It's a fundamental emotional need. Throughout human history, being accepted by the group was tied to survival. Our ancestors depended on their tribes, and exclusion could mean death. Today, our brains still treat social rejection as a serious threat. Studies from the Oxford Academic refer to this as contingent self-esteem, where a person's sense of worth is directly tied to how others perceive them. And in our digital age, this is only intensified. A recent study in Nature Communications showed that likes and social engagement on platforms like Instagram stimulate reward circuits in the brain, triggering dopamine, the same chemical involved in pleasure and addiction. So if someone's constantly seeking reassurance or attention, they may not even realize they're doing it to feel safe. It's not necessarily about ego. It's often about soothing a nervous system wired to fear rejection. Sign number 1, over-apologizing. If someone says sorry too often, even when there's nothing to apologize for, it may point to an underlying fear of disapproval. This kind of chronic apologizing often masks a deep-seated desire to be accepted and not upset anyone. Clinical psychologists featured in Psychology Today have linked excessive apologizing with anxiety disorders and an intense fear of social judgment. These individuals may be highly attuned to group dynamics and quick to blame themselves for perceived disruptions. Over-apologizing isn't always about politeness. Sometimes it's a protective strategy. Say sorry first before anyone else gets the chance to reject you. Sign number 2, the compliment seeker. You compliment their outfit, and 5 minutes later, they ask, "Are you sure it looks okay?" Or maybe they post a picture and obsess over how many likes it gets. This is one of the most visible signs of validation-seeking behavior. According to studies in cyberpsychology, behavior, and social networking, people who constantly seek online affirmation often link their self-worth to digital engagement. Each comment or emoji becomes a mini burst of reassurance, but that feeling fades fast. These individuals aren't craving attention in the traditional sense. They're looking for something deeper, the emotional safety of knowing they're good enough. It's less about vanity, more about invisible wounds. Sign number 3, mirror personality. Have you ever noticed someone who seems to become a different person depending on who they're with? They agree with everything, laugh when others do, and adapt their opinions like a chameleon. This behavior is often unconscious, but it's deeply linked to the need for validation. Psychological frameworks like sociometer theory suggest that people monitor their social value constantly and may alter their identity to stay within the acceptable range. While mirroring can be a bonding tool, when it's extreme, it becomes a red flag. People who do this might fear that being themselves isn't enough, so instead, they become who they think others want them to be. Sign number 4, social media hyper-awareness. They check their phone every few minutes, delete posts that don't get likes, carefully curate captions for maximum impact. Social media becomes a stage, and every post a performance. Data from the Pew Research Center shows that 6 out of 10 young adults say social media affects their self-esteem. And when someone internalizes digital feedback, likes and comments aren't just numbers, they're a form of emotional currency. These behaviors often look like screen addiction, but what's really happening is a deeper need to be seen, validated, and accepted. It's not the phone they're addicted to, it's what the phone promises. The cost of craving validation. When validation becomes a primary driver, a person may lose sight of their own values and desires. Their internal compass, what feels right, meaningful, or aligned, gets overwritten by the pressure to meet external expectations. Instead of acting from a place of personal truth, they begin reacting to cues from others. What's trendy, what draws praise, what gets approval. This outside-in style of living may seem harmless at first. After all, who doesn't want to be liked? But over time, it chips away at authenticity and leaves a person feeling hollow. It can drain emotional energy, create burnout, and even trigger identity confusion. According to research published in the Journal of Personality, individuals who rely heavily on validation from others report significantly higher levels of depression, anxiety, and overall dissatisfaction with life. What makes this pattern so insidious is how quietly it takes hold. Validation feels good, it's reassuring. But the danger begins when that reassurance becomes the only thing that provides relief or self-worth. In chasing acceptance, people often lose themselves and don't even realize it until the cost is too high. How to respond with empathy. If you notice these signs in someone, approach them with empathy, not judgment. Instead of pointing out their behaviors as flaws, see them as signals that they might be struggling with how they perceive their own worth. Acknowledge their efforts, achievements, or even their presence in a way that feels genuine and grounded. This type of specific, thoughtful praise helps them feel seen without having to seek the spotlight. You don't need to make it a grand gesture. Sometimes a small moment of real connection, a nod of appreciation, a comment that recognizes their unique qualities can begin to reshape how someone relates to themselves. Over time, this can start to rewire their internal dialogue, steering it away from constant self-doubt. So rather than saying, "Stop seeking attention," show them they don't have to seek it at all. Remind them through your actions that their value isn't up for debate. They're already enough, just as they are. Tools for rebuilding self-worth. Science-backed practices like cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, reflective journaling, and intentional breaks from social media can significantly reduce the need for external approval. These methods help retrain the brain to seek inner alignment rather than outward applause. For instance, studies cited by the Greater Good Science Center have shown that cultivating self-compassion and practicing daily gratitude can rewire thought patterns, fostering a stronger emotional foundation. By gradually shifting focus from the question, "How do others see me?" to the deeper, more empowering one, "What truly matters to me?" people begin to build resilience. This shift not only reclaims personal agency, but also strengthens their ability to navigate life without being overly swayed by others' opinions. Over time, this inward recentering helps form a more grounded, unshakable sense of identity that isn't dependent on fleeting validation. At our core, every human being craves validation. It's a deeply embedded part of how we form bonds and build our identities. From infancy to adulthood, those moments of acknowledgement, whether a smile, a compliment, or a nod of approval, reinforce our sense of belonging. But there's a fine line between healthy connection and dependency. When someone's self-worth becomes entirely hinged on external validation, they can start to drift away from their authentic self. The signs may be quiet, an apology that wasn't needed, a post deleted in silence, a person nodding in agreement when they truly feel otherwise, but they speak volumes. The beauty of awareness is that it opens the door for change, not by force, but by understanding. If you recognize these patterns in someone else, offer them what they may not be giving themselves: patience, reassurance, and acceptance without condition. Just your presence, steady, kind, and attentive, can become a powerful reminder that their value doesn't need to be proven. And that is interesting.